Hi, friends. Welcome to the Departure Lounge. My name is Mary Razemba, your host and coach with strategies for safe and legal migration. And today I am back for yet another episode. So, for those who are just joining us, thank you so much for joining. I am a coach who guides you through your migration process. I help you find migration opportunities and link you with the best opportunities that fit your profile so that you can have a successful migration. And in my own words, the way I like to put it is so that you can migrate to thrive and not just to survive. Because when we're leaving home, we're leaving obviously for greener pastures. So we want to make sure that the pastures that we're headed to are indeed greener. I talk a lot. That's my thing. My name is Mary Razemba, if I hadn't already said so. I need you guys to invite people to this live video right now. If you're watching from YouTube, or even if you're watching from Twitter or Facebook, I need you to go to YouTube and to like my channel, click the subscribe button, and make sure that you get all the videos as they are coming in, because this is the same information that I use to coach my clients individually, and this is how we get you from where you are to where you want to be. Today we're talking about migrational pathways. So last week, if you missed it, we talked about the migration profile, and we said it's made up of 4 specific factors, which is your age, your educational qualification, your family status, and what was the 4th, or was it 3? I might get back to you on that one. I don't remember what was the 4th. Your sex, your gender. All right, so that's what we talked about as a migrational profile. And we said your migration profile can either will be the how do we put it? It will be the gateway to show you where you can go and how you can migrate, which opportunities are available for you, and which ones are the best to jump onto. So we talked about the migration profile yesterday. That was season 1, episode 5. You can find it on my YouTube channel if you haven't already watched it. If you have already, you're in the right place, because we're building on from that and we are trying to pick a migration pathway. So a migration pathway is basically a road that leads you to opportunities for migration. It's a route that you are going to use to get you to first world countries, to get you to move as an immigrant. And like the promo said, there are 3 ways to do this. So let's just jump right in and I will explain. So there's 3 major migrational pathways, right? And one is education, the next is employment, and the next is family. And I think these are kind of no-brainers, right? Because most people who migrate, they use one of these paths, okay? But I'm just going to expand a little bit so that you understand where the migration profile comes in. So let's say you are deciding to migrate. You have decided to leave where you are and you want to migrate to Europe, for example. There's 3 routes you can use. The family route is rather obvious. It's just the fact that you have close family ties. And I don't mean a cousins, uncles, niece, nephews. You know how we're related in Africa. No, I mean like first generation close blood ties. So children, parents, spouses, those people can migrate on as a family, on a family reunification visa. So that one is easier if you already have family there. But if you don't, you want to put this one on the back, in your side pocket, in your back pocket, because you're going to pull it out. So like I said last week, you can either decide to move first, you can migrate first, and then bring your family. And this family aspect, this migrational pathway will be relevant when you already are there. So if you're somebody who's looking to migrate, but you have children, you have a spouse, you have parents who are older, or dependents, direct bloodlines, direct blood relatives, you might want to think about this as a long-term plan. Okay, this is what you're going to need later on, and this is what these people are going to need to get to where you are when you're gone. So that leaves us with two major pathways, right? So the two major pathways are education and employment. And I think the broadest one is education, because I know that a lot of people are out there actively looking for scholarships and ways to go and study in Europe. And I'm going to let you in on a couple of things that maybe you didn't know or hadn't yet considered. Number one, there are two branches of education in the European system. So there is the university setup, which is, universities, and for bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, PhDs. But there's also the technical schools or technical colleges, which are higher national certificates, higher national diplomas that you earn, and you can use these to work. Now, the biggest differentiating factor is the price that you will pay for these two services, for these two educational pathways. All right. Understand that the university aspect is always not a little, it's a lot more expensive. But this is what you need to know: it's way cheaper to study in Europe than it is to study in the UK, Australia, Canada, or America. I will repeat, it's way cheaper, and I mean way cheaper, to study at a European university than it is to study at a Canadian, Australian, UK, or American university, simply because education in Europe is highly subsidized, and I mean highly subsidized. So for the same degree, in fact, some of the best universities in the world are in Europe, but for the same degree and the same quality of education that you can get in America, you get it at a fraction of the price. I will give you an example. If you want to study, for example, a bachelor in nursing, I've looked it up. At the University of Leuven, as a foreign student, you will pay something in the range of 8,000 to 9,000 euros tuition fees a year. Now, if you want to do a Bachelor of Nursing in, for example, the Oxford University in the UK, then that will cost you anything in excess of 35,000, 40,000 pounds a year. So it's a big difference. Okay, so if you can afford this route, then this is something to look into. Okay, so there's the educational route. We've said universities are way cheaper in Europe, and that's the advantage of studying in universities in Europe. That being said, if you are studying for a bachelor's degree, bachelor's degrees are usually in the native language. So, for example, if you're in Belgium, a bachelor's degree is going to be in Dutch. If you're in Greece, bachelor's degree is going to be in Greek. If you're in Germany, a bachelor's degree is going to be in German. Okay, that there is no escape when you're at a bachelor's level, when you're studying at a bachelor's level. But this is where you need to hear this. If you already have an existing bachelor's degree that you're carrying over from Africa, you can apply for a master's program. And master's programs are all in English. Well, most of the time they're in English. I think majority of them are actually in English. Masters and PhDs are in English. And it's not just the case when we're talking about Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, France. It's the same case when we're talking about master's programs and PhDs in these specific countries. So there are universities that will offer you a master's program at a fraction of the price. It's also very interesting to look into getting scholarships and funding from the particular universities and understand that it'll be very easy, very, very easy. It'll be fairly easier to get funding if you are studying in what is a critical skills sector. So this is one migrational pathway and under the umbrella of education. So we're talking about education, and we've said under the umbrella of education, there are two separate pathways. There's the university level, which has the bachelor's degree, the master's degree, and a PhD level. We've said the advantage is studying in Europe, you get reduced or very highly subsidized tuition. And it's cheaper in terms of, if in comparison to other Western countries. The quality of the education is pretty much on the same level. It's just at a better price, right? So now the second branch of education is the technical schools. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't know. So we've talked about university bachelor's program being about 7,000 to 9,000 euros a year. When it comes to technical colleges, the tuition fee is anything between 600 and 1,200 euros per year. Okay, this is good news. All right, so 6 to 1,200 euros per year, and that's tuition, and that's for you to go and study for a higher national diploma in a European country. That is a pathway, right? That is an opportunity right there. Hello, can you hear me? Am I talking to you? That is an opportunity right there, okay? If you can, if you are open to the educational route, then you might want to consider the technical college route if finances are tight for you. So if you can't afford the 9,000 a year, you can maybe look into going to college for 1,000, maximum 1,200 euros as tuition per year. Okay. The only catch, okay, is that you have to speak the language. So when we're talking about nursing apprenticeships, when we're talking about mechanical engineering apprenticeships, when we're talking about all kinds of apprenticeships, we're talking about technical college. The advantage with technical schools in Europe is that, okay, it's half time studying in the classroom and half time on the work floor, but they recognize them the same. So a nurse who graduates from a technical college has the same duties and is recognized the same as a nurse who graduates from a university. The only difference that these two people will have is how much that they earn. One will earn 300 euros netto less than the other. Okay, so one with the bachelor's degree, you will earn 300 euros netto more than the one who has a technical degree, a technical diploma, a higher national diploma. So at the end of the day, this is an opportunity right there. So understand, to be able to grab this opportunity, you need language. Ding ding. All the time it comes back, it keeps on coming back. Understand that in Europe almost nothing is in English. They only talk to tourists in English. Okay. For the rest, you have to speak the language. All right. And it's not impossible. I've lived in Greece, I speak Greek. I live in Belgium, I speak Dutch. It's not impossible to learn the language and to be able to speak and communicate effectively and work effectively when you are speaking these languages. So understand that it is very doable, but you have to have the language. You have to be open to learning the language. That's number one. Number two is if you want to use the technical college route, you still have to go to do a year of language in a recognized university. Okay, so for example, if you want to study nursing at a technical college in Belgium, then you have to go and do 1 year of language and get your language up to B2 level to be able to enroll into this technical college. And I've looked it up. I know what I'm talking about. So this year of language in total, it costs 1,600. That's the tuition. 1,600 for a year of language. And then after this 1,600, you pay a tuition fee of between 600 and 1,200 a year. Okay, so at the end of the day, it's pretty doable. You just have to be open to learning the language. But we're talking about migrational pathways. And I am your coach, Mary Razemba. So if you're finding this information useful, go ahead to my YouTube channel, click like, click subscribe, and you will be notified every time I come up with these videos with banger information and opportunities that you need to know, especially when you want to migrate to Europe or to the first world. Okay? So, back to our topic. We're talking about the three major migrational pathways, and I've explained that a migrational pathways is the route that you choose to use to get you into a country to migrate. That's your migrational journey, let's put it that way. And we've talked about family and we've talked about education with its two subdivisions or subcategories of university degrees and technical colleges. Now we're going to talk about employment. Now, I always wondered, okay, like when we were growing up in Zimbabwe, I always wondered when they said expats, what is an expat? And it used to frustrate me because the idea that I had of an expat was it had to be somebody who was white, who was working in another country. Otherwise, if you're black, you're an immigrant. Come to think of it, that's not true. So this category, the category of employment, is dedicated to expats. All right. And what is an expat? An expat is just somebody who leaves their home country to go and work in another country and is employed there. So for the sole purpose of working. The difference between an expat and an immigrant is that an expat is already skilled. They have a skill already and they are already able to work. They are solely in the country to be able to work. Now, the good news is there's opportunity for this. Why? Because I happen to know that in Africa, we churn out thousands and thousands and thousands of highly skilled graduates from our universities, which are not so bad, by the way, because they're highly reputable. So our degrees are recognizable here in Europe. So once you have this very highly skilled in or a degree in what I will call critical skills, then you are at a good advantage. You stand a good advantage because the moment that you land, you hit the ground running. So, what are these critical skills? Well, I will give you a broad explanation because we're not going to go into it today. That's a topic for another day, and that's why you need to go to my channel, like and subscribe, okay? On YouTube, Mary Razemba, and I will keep you in the loop. I will tell you more about this, okay? But in general, we're talking about STEM. So science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. These are hot at the moment. Hot, hot, hot. So if you have a degree in STEM, hot opportunity. We are calling you. We're looking for you. All right. Another field that is really hot in the critical skills at the moment, no brainer, healthcare. Because of the pandemic that we are currently in, there's a lot of healthcare workers in this part of the world who are in burnouts. There's a lot of shortages in healthcare workers. So this is the moment to jump on the bandwagon if you already have an existing qualification as a healthcare worker. Then you can qualify to become an expat. Not an immigrant, but an expat. It's a different thing. It's so totally different. And I didn't know that. I wonder if you knew that. Tell me if you knew that, actually, the difference between an expat and an immigrant. I am curious because It took me years to figure out the difference between an expat and an immigrant. But okay, I digress. So, this category of employment, right? When we're talking about employment, we said STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. That's hot. Anything under healthcare is hot. So, radiographers, physiotherapists, doctors, nurses, what are they called? Ergotherapies? Ergotherapy? That's not a word. Occupational therapists. That's what they're called in English. Occupational therapists. It's hot at the moment. And these people qualify for critical skills, right? So it's 20 minutes. I have decided to keep my ramblings a little bit shorter because I know attention spans are small. So we're going to call this an episode, but let's go back and round it up one more time for the go. While we're here, while you're looking at these three major pathways to migration, three major migrational pathways, I need you to go to my YouTube channel. I need you to like. I need you to subscribe. I need you to share this with your friends on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. I need you to share, 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 because sharing is caring. All right, so we're talking three major migrational pathways. We talked about education. That's definitely one way you can find a route to go to migrate to become an immigrant. There is the A class of employment, the A class of expats. These are already skilled people who are finding pathways, who have a pathway or an opportunity to go and work in a foreign country. And then there is the family. So if you are a family person and you fit into one of these two categories, this is the route that your family will follow with. I hope this is clear. I hope this is crystal clear. And the importance of these three migrational pathways, why I'm talking about this, is because this is where we started last week. We started by talking about what's my migrational profile. Now we're going to link it. All right. So if you fall within a certain age group, if you fall within a certain gender, or within a certain educational qualification, you need to link your direction, your migrational direction, with one of these three pathways. And what do I mean? So, if you already have an existing bachelor's degree, you might want to think about going to do a master's in Europe. This is something that breaks my heart, guys. I have to say before I go, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart because at the moment, everybody is talking healthcare. Yes, there is a huge shortage of healthcare workers at the moment. Okay, that is a fact. But that does not mean we are all meant to be healthcare workers. All right. So if you have an existing qualification, if you have an existing bachelor's degree, which is separate from healthcare, what you need to think about is not migrating to become a nurse aide. No, think about the other pathways. Think about migrating to become to do your master's or your PhD. Think about migrating as an expat to work. And I will be here to help you and show you how you can take advantage of these opportunities, as well as how to stand out in a crowd so that you are eligible to take advantage of these opportunities. We don't all need to be nurses. We don't all need to be nurse aides. We have different skills and different talents, and it breaks my heart when I see somebody with a master's degree in veterinary surgery, for example, or whatever, and they want to go and do nursing. No, no. Look up the critical skills. Let's find out which country has these critical skills, or which critical skills fall in the range of your interest. Which critical skills that you look at and you say, my degree is maybe in this, but I could do a master's in that, and then I would be eligible for this critical skill. So this is the way that we need to start thinking. Let's stop thinking out of desperation because that only lands us in trouble. So, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. One more time, go to my YouTube channel, hit like, hit subscribe, and I will be back next week with another episode of the Departure Lounge. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing evening. Bye.